Millions of us do it every single day, probably without even thinking about it. We connect to public Wi-Fi. I mean, it's convenient, it's free, but it's also hiding a very real, invisible threat. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and unmask that danger. So picture this. You're at the airport, maybe a hotel, or just your favorite coffee shop. You see that open network, you connect, and you're good to go. But have you ever stopped to wonder who else might be on that same network with you? And more importantly, what they might be up to? To really get a handle on this risk, let's walk through a story, one that could honestly happen to any of us. It's a story built on convenience, a little bit of trust, and a danger that works completely in the shadows. Okay, so this is Jude. She's just taking advantage of the cafe's free connection to get a few things done, checking her bank balance, maybe making a quick transfer. It's a totally normal, seemingly harmless part of her day. Now, when things are working the way they should on a secure network, this process is kind of like a private armored tunnel. Jude's device connects straight to her bank's server. Her login info gets sent through this secure tunnel, and the bank responds right back. It's a protected, two-way conversation completely sealed off from the outside world. But here's the twist. On this open, public network, that tunnel is gone. A hacker, who could be sitting just a few tables away, is basically listening in on the network, just siphoning off her banking information as it flies through the air. And the scariest part? Jude has absolutely no clue what's happening. And that brings us to the big question. How can someone just intercept your private data so easily on a public network? I know it sounds like something out of a spy movie, but the technique is very real, and it's all too common. The method they use to steal Jude's data, it's called a man-in-the-middle attack, or MITM for short. So let's break down exactly what that is and unmask this digital eavesdropper. A man-in-the-middle attack is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. A hacker secretly plants themselves right in the middle of your conversation with an online service. So you think you're talking directly to your bank, but in reality, your entire conversation is being routed right through the attacker. Think of it like this. You send a sealed letter to your bank, right? But someone intercepts it, opens it, reads everything, then carefully reseals it and sends it on its way. Neither you nor the bank would ever know a third party saw everything inside. That's the whole idea behind this attack. So, how does a hacker actually pull this off? Let's get into the nitty-gritty and break down the mechanics of this digital interception. Okay, so on a secure network, your connection is a direct line. It's encrypted. Your device talks to the internet, whether that's your bank, your email, whatever, and that's it. It's a simple, protected, point-to-point conversation, shielded from anyone trying to listen in. But on an unsecured public network, a hacker can wedge themselves right into that channel. And now, all of your data flows through the hacker's device first, before it ever gets where it's supposed to go. They've become this secret, invisible middleman. So, how do they do this? Well, one popular method is IP spoofing. The hacker's computer essentially tricks the Wi-Fi router into thinking it's your device by faking or spoofing your unique IP address. This sneaky move redirects all of your internet traffic right to the hacker's computer. They can also use something called DNS spoofing, where they basically corrupt the network's address book to send you to a fake banking website that looks totally real. Either way, they can now read everything you send before passing it along. And what's really wild is that this is often a passive attack. The hacker doesn't need to break your connection or cause any obvious problems. They just sit back and collect your data as it flows by. Its stealth is what makes it so incredibly dangerous. There are usually no warning signs, no alarms, no clue that you've been compromised until it is way too late. Okay, that was the problem, and yeah, it is a little bit scary. But the good news is there are some really effective ways to protect yourself. So let's look at how you can build up your digital defense. Let's just compare an unsecure connection to a secured one. On that typical public Wi-Fi, your data is sent in the clear. It's unencrypted and super easy for anyone else on the network to read. But using a VPN, a virtual private network, completely changes the game. It encrypts all of your data, creating that secure, private tunnel for your information to travel through. It's like putting your sealed letter inside a locked metal box before you send it. Even if someone intercepts it, it's just unreadable. So what's the big takeaway here? Here are 3 crucial habits to build your own digital shield. First, always use a VPN on public Wi-Fi. Second, before you type any info into a website, look for that little lock icon and HTTPS up in the address bar. That means your connection to that specific site is encrypted. And third, just as a general rule, try to avoid doing sensitive things like online banking on open networks whenever you can.
So let's go back to Jude for a second. If she had been using a VPN, her entire transaction, all her login details, all her financial data would have been completely encrypted. Sure, the hacker could have still intercepted the data, but it would have been just a meaningless jumble of code, totally unreadable and completely useless to them.
So the next time you're about to click connect on that free public Wi-Fi, just pause for a second. The most important question you can ask isn't what's the password, but instead, who else is on my network?